When I tell you I could genuinely be sick right now. Might need to put this video to a hold. Let me tell you just what happened to me. So I go downstairs, I'm like, I'm gonna have a glass of Coke. I put it in my nice little gin glass. This is just Coke, by the way. So I was like, I'm gonna put some Coke in here, have a nice little straw, you know, be all cutesy for the video, whatever. I'm walking upstairs, I go for a sip of my Coke. Why is there something stuck in the straw? And it goes in my mouth and it's like black charcoal. I don't even know, but my mouth is on fire. Anyways, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Tara Danny, if you're new here. Hey guys, Tad, if you're not new. Hey guys, and what's up? And it's been super duper long since I have made a YouTube video, like proper sit down catch up. So that's what we're doing today. Grab your cup of tea, grab your charcoal Coke, and let's get ready together. Anyways, I'm going to start with my hair. I'm just going to straighten it. I'm not going to do too much, like, I do want to curl it, but it's like, do I just do it? I haven't actually got a plan for the video. That's not what I wanted to say. I haven't got a heat protectant spray anymore. I finished it, but I've come up with like a little solution for myself, and that is to use my keratin hair oil. Yeah, I've just been using this Pantene hair oil. I feel like it does the job. It does make it a bit greasy, but whatever, you know. Is this gonna mess up now? Because is it gonna hold my curls? Maybe I should have just done it to my dry hair. Yeah, this was a bad idea. Anyways, I do have something really funny to tell you, which I feel like I'll start the vlog off, well, not the vlog, the video off with. That is something that happened to me about, when was this show? July. Mid-July, right? Yeah, mid-July this story takes place, okay? Don't mind my hair, she's looking a bit freaky. And I've been learning how to drive, guys, okay? I don't know if I've mentioned that on the vlogs and videos in the past, because obviously it's been 5 months, but I've been learning how to drive, and it's been a roller coaster, okay? I'm not going to say I'm not the best driver. This is what that story is going to tell you, but I'm not a very good driver. I thought I was going to be, turns out I'm just crap, but whatever. I've had over 20 hours now, and it was in July, and I still had over 20 hours, and I was like, right, I was like to my dad for months, I was like, Dad, like, can you please just like let me drive? Like, let me drive. I learn in a manual. I'm doing manual lessons. Hold on, let me have to sit back. These lessons are costing a fortune for us, and I don't think it's fair. If you just teach me how to drive as well, then I can just, you know, stop having some lessons for a bit. Because when I tell you, the amount of money that me and my parents have spent, because they've been paying, I've been paying, after the bulk block had finished for my birthday, I paid like a couple of times. They paid more, of course, like, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, so I was like, right, Dad, take me out. Okay, backstory, my dad drives a BMW, God knows what, and I thought I could drive this Beamer, fat Beamer, by the way. Anyway, sorry guys, I had to go for a minute. Oh my god, I've got it all in this hair now. Anyways, I've got hairspray in my hair over here, but this is the curls. We'll sort them out later. Like this side, I don't know what's going on, but I've decided I'm going for the straightener. Okay, I can't be doing this one thing, especially when I'm trying to record. It's just gonna take hours, and I think my battery's on 27%, so we ain't got time. This one day, I was like, okay, let's do a little driving lesson, and he was like, okay. Feeling good. He picked me up from school that day. No, he didn't. No, we went from the house, and I got my cushion, because in my driving lessons I drive for the cushion because I'm like 4'11". So I was like, okay, I'm ready. He was like, are you nervous? I'm like, no, why would I be nervous, mate? I mean, I'm a pro at driving. Bear in mind, I drive a Corsa, not a Beamer. Right, so I was like, yeah, I'll be fine, don't worry about me. Get in the car, pulling off. I crashed into the person in front of me, And I was actually, I'll insert the pictures, but I was very, very shocked. Like, it was a massive, like, wake-up call. Like, okay, you are still a learner. You can't drive. And you definitely can't drive an automatic BMW. So maybe you should just give up, basically, was my mindset. So I'm really nervous about driving. I have had a couple lessons since the accident, but wasn't great. And it wasn't like a terrible crash, because obviously I wasn't going at any super fast speed or anything, like I was pulling off. But I was fine after it, like for the first few hours. Like Bailey came over and we were just like, oh, I was just needed like someone, because I felt really bad for my dad. Like I feel like it didn't really hit me that much, because all I was feeling was, oh, I feel so bad for my dad. Like I just crashed his car and we're going on holiday in less than a month and the car's not fixed. And if you have a BMW, if you know anybody that has a BMW, like it's not a cheap car to fix, and the whole front was gone, not gone, but like the headlight was gone, the bit of the bumper was off, like it was scratched, and yeah. And the other person, they wrote their car off. Sorry, bear in mind I lived like basically right next to these people, so it wasn't great, but hey ho. So obviously I was just like in shock for the first few hours, and as I was going to bed the night of like I crashed the car, I couldn't go to sleep. I had a awful headache. I was sitting in my room pitch black because the light was just blinding me. Like it hurt. Like, you know when something's wrong, you know, like I know when something's wrong with my body. Bear in mind I'm not feeling well literally 90% of the time, but I know when there's something not right, you know. I knew this wasn't like no cold, no fever, like no just a migraine. It wasn't the time of the month, it was far from it. So I was like, right, what's going on? Like I'm definitely experiencing a bit of a head injury. Got my mum to come look at me, you know, she did the little thing with the torch or whatever, because my mum's a nurse. And she was like, yeah, I think you might just have a bit of a concussion. And I later on self-diagnosed myself with whiplash instead, because I don't think it was a concussion, because I've had a concussion before from when I had that fight. I had a concussion, which I spoke about in a different video, and I was just like, this doesn't feel like a concussion. Like I think it's just a bit of whiplash, because head movement was hitting, you know. And the way I also recorded the crash, because I set my phone up to record me driving, to like send it to my mates or make it into some sort of TikTok, whatever. I just like to record things, and the video ended up being like 1 minute long, because as soon as I pulled off I just went straight into a car. But so I was just kind of like, this is a bit odd and whatever. So I was like, okay, it's got to be whiplash, because when I rewatched the video I was like, yeah, the way my head like sort of like hit the back of the, because obviously when I drive, as I said, I'm 4 foot like 11, 5 foot ish, so I'm sitting very straight up. My head is pretty much nowhere near, especially in the BMW, because I just can't be bothered to fix the seat or whatever. My head wasn't really near the headrest. Like the headrest was like more here, and I was like here. So when obviously I like went forward and really slammed my head back in, and I had my hair in a claw clip, so that sort of hit my head as well. So it was just it's a bit of a mess, let's just put it like that. Or was it in a bun? It was not in a claw clip, because I didn't have my weave. I think it was in a bun, because I had my goddess braids, but whatever. So I was just kind of like, yeah. So the next day then, I was feeling a bit uneasy, you know. I kind of woke up feeling a bit sick. I don't know why. I just get everything like 10 times worse. Like honestly, I'm just a walking disaster. I think the show was in 2 days, so I had been rehearsing, working my ass off pretty much for this production. Like it was my first time playing a role which was completely out of my comfort zone, and I was just so excited. Like I had been nailing the routine, because it was my first time having a solo song which included so much dance. Like all the other solos I've ever done in a production have always been either just myself or somebody else on stage, and we just sing. and maybe a little actions here and there. But no, I was playing Mrs. Wimright. She's over the top. Like, there was a lot of dancing. The number was 5 minutes long. Like, that's how long the dance was. It was a workout, okay? And it's summer. Like, it's sweating doing loud. And the girl I was double casted with, love her. She's just amazing. So I was just really pushing myself. And when that happened, I was like, oh, for God's sake, you know, like, this is so annoying. To be fair, it went within like 48 hours, maybe. I was a bit rushed for the first night of the show, but I was luckily the second opening night, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, then I ended up, you know, doing this full production with like Whiplash, but it was so funny. Like, it was a funny experience. And at the end of the day, crashes happen all the time, and I don't try and let it like get to me, because obviously I'm a learner. Like, it's okay. But yeah, that was my little one traumatic experience of the year, I would like to say. I would love to talk about more, but as you know, YouTube is my YouTube channel, I try and make it PG. Because you never know who's watching, alright guys? You really never know who is watching. So, I feel like a lot of stories I would love to talk about on here, but it's just not, like, the right place to do so. And a lot of people, moving on now, but a lot of people, like, I know, say to me, like, oh, Tad, you just, like, you don't really act like yourself on YouTube and whatever, and that's something I really so badly want to work on. Like, I feel like I'm there now. Like, don't get me wrong, this is how I am. Like, I'm a very loud, bubbly, lovely person, in my opinion. But when it comes to, like, opening up, because I just don't know who's watching, and there's just so many people that, like, I just don't need knowing my business, because I've made so many mistakes in the past. Like, can we just talk about that for a minute while I start my makeup? Because I've made so many mistakes in the past when it comes to YouTube, and I feel like there is probably a handful of videos I wish I could just delete, but I don't, because there's just something in me which is like, it's just a learning experience. Like, it's funny, like, we can laugh about it now, when at the time when I would make those videos, oh my god, the anger, the rage that it would give people, it was just mental. It's hilarious though, but mental. So obviously I did make that mistake in the past when I was a little bit too open. Not saying like I'm some sort of big YouTuber and there was like edits being made of me. That's like not my point. I'm just talking about like personal life, okay? Like the people that I know and the people that I've argued with or have had beef with, like, and some of the stories that I wish I could like talk about on here and stuff, like, I can't, because they include other people who don't need to be named, you know? So it's like, oh, you know, I see YouTube videos and I see YouTubers and they're just like, this and that, story time about this, story time about that. I have so many life events which I could just make you guys just sit and have a nice cup, and I just could do that, but I can't, because there's so many things. I'll do it in a few years, like maybe next year when I'm 18, like it'll be a little bit different, but for now it's just kind of got to be kept under the rug. But all the stories will come out because they're just hilarious, you know. Like I've had a good teenage years, but not like great. Oh, it's hard. Like it's been a roller coaster from like the age of like 13 actually to now, and I'm just so happy with my life. I feel like that's also a reason why I kind of stopped posting on YouTube. It's generally just because I'm just so happy. Like YouTube always, especially like through teenagehood, like now, not like when I was younger, when I was making my like Roblox videos because there was nothing going on in my life, I was just bored. But like ever since, you know, secondary school and like life started to get a bit more interesting, every time I was just stressed, I would just be like, just make YouTube videos, let's just put all my energy into YouTube. And then it got to the point where I would be arguing with people or whatever, something is going on, and then I'll just be like, oh, I'm just gonna like make a YouTube video and just completely out them, you know. But no, ever since all that's died down, ever since leaving school, but for the past like 5 months ago, it's just been like so chill, so peaceful. Like, all of the toxic people are just out of my life. I just couldn't really be happier. Like, don't get me wrong, like, obviously we all have down days and we all have highs and lows, but when I tell you I've had such a crazy past 2.5 years. It's just, this has just been like the light at the end of the tunnel, you know, like that video I made when I had the concussion, all that was going on about the cheating, the fights and all of that. Like, I've resolved it all. Like, the girl that I was having beef with at the time, like, we're fine. Like, we don't talk, like, we're not like joined to the hip, you know, but like, it's been swept under the rug. Like, we've talked about it, like, it's all good. And I'm just so happy about that, and just happy about a lot of things. People that were just no longer my vibe, gone. And I'm just chilling, and I just wish everybody the best, because I'm not being funny. How can you be 17 years of age or 18 years of age now and you're still out here, so I'm gonna go town and just be a bum, or I'm gonna pick this fight, I don't give a fuck about this, I don't give a fuck about that, you know, like, all of that. Like, I just can't, like, I just enjoy my life. Like, don't get me wrong, I am broke. I'm a broke teenager. I am struggling in school, but it all works out in the end. And if you've just got like the right people around you, like, don't get me wrong, I've not got a lot of friends. I really don't. I've already done my skincare, but I'm just gonna do a little bit more because, like, dried. Another thing I realized about just like entering your quiet life and your private life era, it's just sort of like you are now one with yourself. Like, no, that was so not what I needed to say, like, that was so gospel, but I mean, like, when I went through the phase of like everybody knowing my business, like all of my close friends, all of my like acquaintances in my business, I'm now recording on my phone. I hope it's okay, because my camera's just told me that it needs to cool down because the internal temperature is too high or whatever, some stupid stuff, but I'll just give it a few minutes. But as I was saying, like, when everybody's in your business, it can literally just suffocate you. It got to the point where I was literally crying every single day. I'm getting so deep now, so deep, like, I don't need to get this deep at all, but whatever. We said we're gonna be open on here, but that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, I was just like literally pretty much crying every single day, because it's like so if something would happen in like my relationship or whatever, I would go to this person, that person, this person, and like slate them, or like, I don't know, just like do something, and then next thing I know, I'm going back and I'm like, shit, I gotta tell everybody that I've just told that I'm done, that I'm not done. Do you know what I mean? And it was just so hard like that, like when everybody just has like their own opinions, and you can't defend yourself because you've done that to yourself. Like, you've told them this, and now you want to go back on your word when they have every single right to act the way that they do, when you're the one letting them in, Tad. Like, you're letting them in. And oh my goodness me, once I decided that who my real friends are, what needs to be said and what doesn't need to be said, and actually not just thinking in the moment, like, that's something I've really worked on. Like, if I have an argument, we're just gonna say with my boyfriend, because like, first thing to, out of anger and all the emotions that I might be feeling, I'll just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go call this person, I'll call her, and just like tell them everything, you know, and just and the next thing I know, I talk to him and it's just been blown way out of proportion. The next thing I know, I'm just trying to go back to my friends, like, okay guys, like, calm down, like, it's not that deep, like, I'm over it now. But you know, it just doesn't work like that. So when I've decided that I was gonna stop like just running to people all the time when I need like comfort, and just like sit and think with my emotions for not even just like a few minutes, for a few days,
until I go and tell. Like, there's that one person or two people that I'll just be like, oh, like, this is going on, because obviously you shouldn't bottle up anything. But instead of running to the whole flipping world in my TikTok, because that used to be a problem. Jeez, Tad, I went through a phase of just literally my whole life was on TikTok. Like, I was posting about everything and anything.
The camera is back on. Let's talk about something lighter. Let's talk about something great that's happened over the past 4-5 months. Yes, I know I'm going to talk about. If you've been following on my YouTube channel, if you know me in person or whatever, that I am very much a drama kid. Like, I love musical theatre. Obviously, thinking of it as a career path and stuff. So I started working at Stagecoach Swansea, which I was a student of for like 9 years, and then they had like a job up, and I was like, yeah, let's go. So I started working as front of house and stuff, and it's lovely. It's I love the job. It's amazing. Yeah, it's actually been my dream job since I joined. Like, since I was like 9 years old, it's been my dream job. I've always been like, I want to work at Stagecoach, and I actually do, which is great. Yeah, and I had the opportunity to, even though I wasn't a student, they still signed me up for the LAMDA exam, and I've always wanted to do them. They were always a availability to me when I was in Stagecoach. My battery's on 4%. Anyways, it was still available to me when I was doing Stagecoach, but I just didn't want to do it because it was too much. And I did my first grade 6 in musical theatre exam, and when I tell you lot, I had no clue what I was doing. Grade 6, it goes up to grade 8, so grade 6, it's a pretty hefty grade for a starter, and what you had to do was perform 3 songs from different time periods, the last one being from any time period, like could be modern, whatever, and then the first one had to be like before 1989, and the next one was like before 1990, after 1990, and then any song. So I did I Can Cook 2 from On the Town, I did Still Hurting from the Last 5 Years, and I also did Somewhere That's Green from Little Shop of Horrors. So I did like a pretty good amount, and then you had to do like the exam questions after it, and on the day of the exam, like, you obviously prep before it. Like, I prepped for like almost 3 months, I would say. No, about 5 months. I don't know. I was just having weekly one-on-one sessions with my LAMDA teacher where we would do the songs and go over questions and whatever. It's really simple, but it's also a bit of work when you're also doing your A-levels, you know, like, you've got to really know what you're doing for these exams. So on the day of the exams, had my props, had everything, and I was ready to go. Next thing I know, I got out of the exam. I was a bit like, okay, I did alright, but I feel like I could have done better, whatever. And then when I was in Mexico, I got my LAMDA results back, which was really, really quick, because I did the exam in July and I got them back in August, like mid-August, not even end. And I actually got a distinction. I passed with 94 out of 100, and I think that's really, really good, really high grade, and I cannot wait to get my certificate. And this also gives me UCAS points for uni, so I was really, really excited about that. Anyways, my camera is going to die, so I will catch up with you guys on my phone once I finish my makeup.